What if I told you the one thing you've been chasing your entire life is the exact thing that's been holding you back? Sounds crazy, right? But stay with me because this might be the most important thing you ever hear. Every single day, millions of people open YouTube, watch motivational videos, feel a rush of energy, tell themselves tomorrow everything changes, and then wake up the next morning doing absolutely nothing different. If that sounds like you, don't feel ashamed because I'm about to tell you exactly why it happens, and more importantly, how one simple shift can fix everything. But here's the part no one tells you. Motivation was never designed to save you. Only one thing can. And to explain it, let me tell you a story that will stay with you for years. In a quiet little town surrounded by hills, there lived a young man named Ethan. Ethan was a dreamer. He wanted to rise above his ordinary life and become someone the world would remember. Every single night, he watched motivational speeches, filled notebooks with inspiring quotes, and read stories of people who went from nothing to everything. He'd clench his fist and whisper to himself, "Starting tomorrow, I'm studying 6 hours a day. Tomorrow, my life changes forever." And honestly, just saying those words made his heart race with excitement. But now listen carefully, because this is where the pattern began to destroy him. That fire he felt at night would completely disappear by morning. 2 days of effort, then back to scrolling his phone, making excuses, and lying in bed feeling guilty. This cycle repeated so many times that Ethan started believing something was broken inside him. Then, one afternoon, everything changed. He ran into his old friend Ben, but Ben looked like a completely different person. His eyes were sharper, his confidence was quiet but unshakable. Ben woke up before the sun every single day, followed a strict routine, studied without anyone pushing him, and improved himself so quietly that one day the whole town noticed. Ethan couldn't help himself. He asked Ben, "How do you do this? How do you stay so motivated every single day without burning out?" Ben looked at him calmly and said something Ethan never expected. "I threw motivation away a long time ago, Ethan. The only thing I trust is discipline." Ethan frowned and said, "Wait, isn't motivation supposed to be the foundation of success?" Ben shook his head slowly and replied, "Come to the river with me tomorrow before sunrise. Someone there will explain it better than I ever could." The next morning, while the sky was still painted in darkness, Ethan followed Ben to the riverbank. Sitting there on a worn wooden stool was an old fisherman. His hands were rough like tree bark, and his eyes carried the kind of wisdom you only earn through decades of patience. Ben said softly, "Grandpa, please tell him what you once told me about discipline." The fisherman studied Ethan's face for a long moment, then spoke. "You see this river, son? I've been sitting in this exact spot every single morning for over 40 years. Rain, freezing cold, unbearable heat. It doesn't matter. I throw my net. I sit. I wait. Some days the river blesses me with plenty of fish. Some days I get very little. And some days I go home completely empty-handed. But I never miss a single day. You want to know why?" Ethan thought carefully and answered, "Because you love fishing more than anything?" The fisherman let out a warm laugh. "No, son. Love fades on hard days just like motivation does. I come because it is my duty. If I only showed up when I felt inspired, my family would starve. I never wait to feel ready. I just show up. That is discipline." Ethan felt something shift deep inside his chest. But the fisherman wasn't finished. Think of it this way. Motivation is like lightning. It strikes bright and beautiful, but it vanishes in a second. Discipline is like a quiet flame burning inside a lantern. It doesn't flash, it doesn't roar, but it never goes out, no matter how strong the storm gets. Then he pointed to a tall bamboo tree swaying gently behind them. Have you ever heard what makes this tree so remarkable? Ethan shook his head. The fisherman continued. A farmer once planted a tiny bamboo seed. He watered it faithfully every single day, gave it sunlight, protected it from harm. One full year passed and nothing grew. People mocked him. 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, still nothing visible above the ground. But this is where everything changes. In the 5th year, within just 6 short weeks, that bamboo shot up 90 feet into the sky. Ethan's jaw dropped. But how is that even possible? The fisherman leaned forward, because for 4 long years, that seed was silently building an enormous root system underground. A foundation so powerful that when the time came, nothing could stop its growth. If that farmer had quit in year 3, he would have walked away from a miracle. Discipline works the same way, son. You won't see results immediately. The world might laugh at you. Your own mind might tell you to quit. But if you keep showing up and doing the work day after day, one day your growth will shock everyone around you, including yourself. Something unlocked inside Ethan that morning. He finally understood that he had been addicted to the feeling of motivation instead of committing to the practice of discipline. He had been chasing lightning when he should have been protecting his flame. From that very day, Ethan stopped waiting to feel inspired. He built a simple routine and followed it like a promise he made to himself. On mornings when his body begged for more sleep, he got up anyway. On evenings when his mind screamed to quit studying, he kept going. When exhaustion told him to skip his exercise, he pushed through. Days became weeks, weeks became months, months quietly became years, and slowly, without any dramatic moment or overnight miracle, Ethan became one of the most respected and successful people in his entire town. Whenever someone asked him, "What's your secret? How did you do all of this?" he would smile that same calm smile Ben once gave him and say, "Motivation is a guest that visits and leaves. Discipline is the friend that stays forever." If you can force yourself to do small things consistently, even when nobody's watching, even when nobody is clapping, big results will find you. Success was never about one giant leap. It was always about 1,000 tiny steps taken with patience and consistency. So let me ask you something right now. Are you still waiting for the perfect moment to start? Because that moment is not coming. The only moment you have is this one. Start today. Stay disciplined. And watch how your entire life begins to transform. If this story touched something inside you, hit that like button right now. Tell me in the comments, what is the one habit you're going to start today because of this story? Share this with someone who needs to hear it, and make sure you're subscribed so we can meet again in the next story.